Have you ever caught yourself thinking about the same problem over and over again, trying to find the perfect solution, only to feel more confused than before? Overthinking is something we've all experienced, and while we may believe it's helping us gain control, it often does the opposite. Alan Watts, one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, argues that overthinking is not only holding us back, but also preventing us from living a full and meaningful life. In this video, we'll explore Watts' powerful insights into why overthinking is such a trap and how we can break free from its grip. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand how to finally quiet your mind and start living with more clarity and peace. Overthinking might seem like a harmless habit, but it has serious consequences. It keeps us stuck, unable to move forward, constantly analyzing every decision to the point of paralysis. How many times have you hesitated or backed out of something because you couldn't stop thinking about all the possible outcomes? According to Watts, the problem with overthinking is that it makes life feel like a puzzle that needs to be solved. But life isn't a puzzle. There's no perfect solution, no right path. By trying to think our way through every situation, we miss out on the natural flow of life. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing to our channel for more eye-opening insights that can help you break free from your mental barriers. Now, take a moment to reflect on this. How often do you find yourself overanalyzing even the smallest decisions? Whether it's about what career to pursue, whether to make a phone call, or how to approach a conversation, overthinking creates endless loops in our minds. Alan Watts suggests that this overanalysis stems from our fear of making mistakes. We're so worried about making the wrong decision that we end up making no decision at all. Does that sound familiar? Watts encourages us to stop trying to predict and control every outcome and instead allow life to unfold naturally. Because when you overthink, you're not really living in the present. You're stuck in a mental web of what-ifs. Watts believed that the mind is an incredible tool, but like any tool, it can be overused. Just as you wouldn't use a hammer to paint a picture, you shouldn't rely on your mind to figure out every aspect of life. Overthinking makes the mind chaotic, leading to stress, confusion, and anxiety. The irony is that the more you think, the less clarity you actually have. It's like stirring a glass of muddy water. The more you stir, the murkier it becomes. But if you stop, the water begins to settle, and you can finally see clearly. What if, instead of constantly trying to solve everything, we let our minds rest, allowing clarity to come naturally? One of Watts' core ideas is that overthinking prevents us from experiencing life as it is. When we overanalyze, we are always one step removed from the present moment. Instead of simply experiencing life, we're busy thinking about it, dissecting it, trying to control it. But life, as Watts often pointed out, is meant to be lived, not controlled. The beauty of life unfolds when we stop trying to figure it out and start letting it flow naturally. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas come when you're not actively trying to think? When you're relaxed and present, suddenly the answers seem to appear on their own. That's the power of letting go of overthinking. Overthinking also creates a sense of separation between us and the world around us. Watts often spoke about how overanalysis reinforces the idea that we are separate from our environment, which is simply not true. We are a part of life, deeply interconnected with everything around us. But when we overthink, we isolate ourselves, becoming trapped in our own minds. This isolation not only holds us back from connecting with others, but also from connecting with ourselves. Watts urges us to break free from this mental prison by embracing the flow of life, rather than trying to control it. How much more peaceful would your life be if you could just let go of the need to overthink every situation? The key, according to Watts, is to trust the process of life. When we overthink, it's because we don't trust that things will work out on their own. We think we need to control everything to ensure a good outcome. But what Watts teaches is that life has its own rhythm, its own flow, and the more we try to resist it, the more difficult life becomes. By trusting life, we allow ourselves to move with it rather than against it. This trust doesn't mean we stop making decisions or taking action. It means we take action from a place of inner calm, without the constant mental chatter that overthinking brings. Can you imagine how much more freedom and peace you'd experience if you stopped trying to control everything? When we stop overthinking, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. Overthinking often blinds us to the present moment, making us miss opportunities that are right in front of us. Think about it. How many times have you overanalyzed a situation so much that you missed the chance to act? You hesitated, waited, and before you knew it, the moment was gone. Alan Watts teaches that life flows like a river, constantly moving, and when we spend too much time stuck in our heads, we miss the flow of life itself. What if, instead of analyzing every possible outcome, we simply trusted the moment and took action? What if the secret to unlocking your potential is to stop thinking and start doing? Watts also highlights how overthinking can create unnecessary problems. When we overanalyze, we tend to blow things out of proportion. A small issue becomes a massive hurdle because our minds are constantly spinning, turning simple situations into complex problems. Overthinking creates a false sense of control, where we believe that by thinking more we'll somehow prevent negative outcomes. But in reality, most of the problems we worry about never happen. By overthinking, we are manufacturing stress for ourselves. Watts reminds us that life is often much simpler than we make it out to be. What if you could let go of your need to overanalyze and start seeing situations for what they really are? Another powerful insight from Watts is that overthinking is often a sign of fear of failure, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of uncertainty. But the truth is, life is filled with uncertainty, and no amount of thinking will ever eliminate that. Watts encourages us to embrace the uncertainty of life, to see it as an adventure rather than something to be feared. When we stop trying to control everything through our thoughts, we begin to flow with life, trusting that whatever happens, we can handle it. Imagine how much lighter you would feel if you stopped fearing the unknown and started embracing it instead. Could letting go of your overthinking be the first step toward true freedom? Watts often described overthinking as a mental trap, an endless loop where the mind keeps creating problems and then tries to solve them. But here's the thing: the mind can't solve problems it created. The more we think, the more we get trapped in a cycle of doubt, worry, and fear. The only way out of this cycle is to stop feeding it. Watts suggests that instead of trying to solve every problem with our minds, we should simply observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. By doing this, we take a step back from the mental noise and allow our true selves to emerge. Have you ever tried observing your thoughts without engaging with them? It's a powerful way to break free from overthinking. Watts' teachings also point to a simple but profound truth: overthinking disconnects us from our inner wisdom. When we are constantly analyzing and worrying, we lose touch with our intuition. Our minds are so busy that we can't hear the quiet voice of our deeper self, the voice that often knows exactly what we need to do. Watts encourages us to trust our intuition more and to stop second-guessing ourselves. Intuition is like a compass that guides us through life, but when we overthink, we ignore it. What if the answers you've been looking for are already within you, waiting for you to quiet your mind and listen? How much easier would life be if you trusted yourself more? As we near the end of this video, let's reflect on the key takeaway: overthinking is holding you back from living the life you want. It creates unnecessary stress, keeps you stuck in your head, and prevents you from experiencing life as it truly is. Alan Watts offers us a powerful reminder that life isn't something we need to figure out or control. It's something to be lived, moment by moment, with trust, openness, and a sense of adventure. By letting go of overthinking, you allow yourself to flow with life, to experience it fully, and to find peace in the present moment. In conclusion, if overthinking has been holding you back, it's time to let go. Take a deep breath, trust the process, and allow life to unfold naturally. As Alan Watts beautifully puts it, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Stop stirring the water with your thoughts and let it settle. You'll find that clarity and peace come not through overanalyzing, but through being present, trusting yourself, and embracing the flow of life. Thank you for watching. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how you plan to stop overthinking and start living more freely. Stay tuned for more insights from Alan Watts and other great minds, and remember, peace begins when the mind is still.